Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
Why you grow a spine?
Trans lives are on the line!
Mount Sinai grow a spine!
Trans lives are on the line!
Sadly, the future isn't that bright with these students. Hello and welcome to another video. We're looking at delusional woke students today. Hit that like button before the bell rings, will you?
Pick a cotton. Us! My skin! My ancestors! Who built the buildings? Mexicans! Who planted rice? The Asians!
And would you ever get pegged?
Could you be any louder?
Why do you want me to die? That's not cool.
I don't want everyone to die, actually. You know what? We should abort every kid ever.
Why do you like abortion so much?
I don't know, just because it's cool. I want every woman here to get an abortion.
Guys, this is the future of our country.
Everyone's gonna get the woke mind virus. We're all gonna experience our gender and everything.
You seem like a nice person. I know you said some mean stuff to me, but like, why wear the mask? Like, it just seems...
because I want to. What happened to freedom of, like, expression?
Okay, I agree. If you want to wear it, you can, but it just looks kind of scary.
Okay,
COVID's over. Like, there's not, you don't need to live in fear. You don't need to live in fear
Are you being
anymore.
a snowflake right now?
Yes, I am, because you seem like a nice young trans person, and
I'm not trans. I'm a cis woman.
Oh.
A cis woman. Need to cut back on self-hatred and victimization. Maybe your girly features will come back.
If a trans man went into a women's bathroom, that's not a diss, that's a compliment.
No, it's 100% an insult. But
you think it's an insult to be manly?
Well,
yeah, I would see it. You're crossing your legs like a queer.
I could see that you're a struggling individual. So let me ask you, are you trans?
I am a man. None of the right talks about trans men, and I want to know why. Make eye contact with me, please, like a man.
Wow.
People who...
Wait, so you acknowledge that I'm a man? I thought that you're like this trans activist.
I am a man, and you are a man, and
Well,
you'll look me in the eye like a man.
I'm not sure what you are, but okay.
You think trans women are these predator men that look me in the eyes,
women.
please? Come on. Are you autistic? Here, look here, look here.
I can look anywhere I please. Calm down a little bit, okay?
Do you know how to make eye contact?
Yeah, I do, and I can also look at the audience because I'm mature enough not to have to stare you at all the time because I'm not a psychopath, okay?
Whoa! I'm calling you mentally ill because you can't communicate with me.
So if I am mentally ill, which means that I'm off the norm, can we also agree that trans people are mentally ill because they're off the norm?
I don't think there's anything wrong with being mentally ill.
That's the type of person that would to school, so be very careful.
We all see her ponytail swinging, right?
I'm a trans woman.
Sure, be whatever you want to be.
I'm also Muslim. Yes, the two exist.
They exist, guys. So, my advice to you, don't go to a Muslim country because there they don't coexist.
Alhamdulillah.
Next.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته كيف حالكم يا أحباب.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
This is hysterical.
This is so f***ing stupid. Like, for the second time, I'm in a coffee shop just trying to study and do my homework. Like last time, my headphones were dead, so like I didn't have any headphones on, whatever. I was just gonna do my essay. And this, like, family sits next to me. It's like a dad, like teenage son and like teenage daughter, and they're probably like 18 or something. And they're sitting next to me and like I'm not like paying too much attention, and like the daughter's like, I just like want to go, like can we just go walk around? The dad was like, no, like we need to talk about why you guys hate Trump so much. And I was just like, I could hear it. I was like, whatever. And the dad was just like, it's because you guys need to understand, like, he's doing good because he's trying to stop the trans people who are grooming children. And the daughter was like rolling her eyes. She was like, can we please just go? Like, I don't want to talk about this. Gay people are fine, but trans people are harming children, and like he's gonna stop this. And like I literally, like, this is the second time now this has happened to me. They're sitting right next to me and they have no idea, of course. So I like picked up the phone and I called my friend, and I was like loudly, I was like, once again, some idiot is next to me at a coffee shop talking about trans people and how they're harmful, and he has no idea he's actually sitting next to a trans person who's minding their own business. And I said this loud, and then like they kind of like were like freaking out, and they started like gathering all their like all their food and like all their drinks, and they started to stand up and leave. And so did I just like slammed my laptop shut, and I was just like, I can't focus and study because I have some transphobe next to me crying about he doesn't know. Like I just popped off. I just like was like popping off. I'm like walking back to my car. Like it's like the type of propaganda that works every time. Like for stupid people, like goes so hard. Like they eat it up. They literally eat it up. They are bewildered every single time they're in real life, not reading headlines on the internet, and a trans person's right there. Like, I'm so sick of this.
First of all, you look like a girl with a horrible barber. Secondly, that didn't happen. The truck was trying to brake check the Tesla that's recording. Well, what did we learn about karma today?
Can you tell me what a woman is?
A woman is someone who identifies with femininity.
So, just let's pause. That's not a definition. That's like saying a cup is a thing that looks like a cup.
Okay.
So you got to give me a definition, not just, you cannot use the term in your answer.
Well, I have trouble with that because I don't define anything. I don't think that...
So are you a woman?
I am a woman.
You just defined something. You said I don't define anything.
By saying I'm something means that I'm defining something?
Yes, of course. You're making a value. By the way, that's the entire trans argument that I just used, is that you call you're by definition defining something. So really? You are, yes, of course, that's the trans argument.
That's so stupid. By saying that I'm something means that someone else can't be the same thing.
Well,
that's
no,
stupid.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you just said I don't define things, and you went on to just define yourself.
Can't see reason with shades that big, I guess.
Other than like abortion, what kind of rights do you feel like women don't have in America?
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
Gosh, that's such a good question. I guess it's not necessarily right, but there's not enough female representation in politics.
Yeah, that is a good question. You know, I think women should have the right to feel safe. We deserve a government that supports us.
Yeah, we are not surprised.
Yes, if you give money to Kamala Harris, that's a signal that you support her. Fine. But if 97% of an organization, which is American college, all goes to the left, that's a massive imbalance, right? That's not moderate. That's insanely slanted.
Yeah, but that's not happening, though. Education as
let me ask, how many of you guys feel as if you would be punished or treated differently if you say you support Trump or conservative values in your class? Look around. Look around. Every single person. So it is happening.
Okay, well,
these
it's
kids
happening to me as well and many other
These kids are being punished for their views every day.
Yeah, and organizations like yours punish us, moderates and left-leaning.
We don't control your grades. We're a voluntary student organization where it's not voluntary for them to take a course.
So you're saying if you were an openly Trump-supporting student, you would get lower grades in your classes based on the professors? Do you guys have proof of this? Okay, pull up your now. Come on, bro. Come on. Anyways.
There are thousands, if not millions, of people who have come out to say how difficult their professors have made their lives. They are forced to accept white guilt for grades, can't write their papers on their white heritage, and so much more.
I truly think that trans women are the best of us. And not only do I not think that they take anything away from my experience as a cis woman, I think that they are actually one of the purest forms of womanhood and highlight some of the most beautiful parts of womanhood. Because what do you mean that in our patriarchal society, you are going to throw away all of the privilege that you have as someone that was born a man and choose girlhood even when it means you have a life expectancy of 40 and you instantly become the most at-risk woman in your society? Like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. How does any woman see someone fighting that hard to be one of us and your gut reaction is to call them a man? No, babe, they're more woman than you will ever be.
I don't think an Adam's apple and peeing standing up is womanhood. Also, the most beautiful and purest form of womanhood is motherhood.
That whosoever believes that in him will not perish. My dear, hold on a minute, I'm making a video. So, free Palestine from Islam and from Hamas. The Islam is the cult religion of, and free Palestine from Islam and Hamas, and everything will be fine. Don't touch me, don't touch me. So free Palestine from Islam and Hamas. Islam is the cult religion of, and these people are lost in the cult religion of. So this woman is coming to ask for freedom for Palestine. I ask freedom for Palestine from Islam and Hamas. God bless you.
You shouldn't have gotten in her video in the first place.
If you're cis and you won't date trans folks, you're transphobe. Now if that made you mad, maybe it's your prejudices that you need to probe. No matter the reasons you've got, you're reducing us to when we disrobe. And that kind of thinking ain't sophisticated, it's more like microbes. I know you think you've got good reasons, maybe you do. Trauma's real, it's hard to heal, I'd never say that that isn't true. But transphobia's transphobia, and you won't get a pass when we're through. We're human beings, not organs, cis lesbians, I'm talking to you.
Trans or cis, no one wants you, bro.
I'd want to be the fattest woman in the world.
Wait. What the
How many inches y'all think her stomach is, though?
91 inches.
She has 7 foot inches of stomach. Bro, shorty's stomach taller than Webinyama.
I'm gonna eat more food, but
Protect all the food. We need food protective services ASAP.
She might be the fattest dead woman, though.
Yes, hi, what's your name?
I'll just say my name is Mav.
Say what?
Mav.
Mav.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my question for you is, if God said that there is going to be male and female, and then there's some variety within that called intersex people, why do you guys insist on this binary definition of when clearly biology is not so binary? There are intersex people, and you'll say, oh, it's just 1% of people, etc., etc. And then also, let's extend that to same-sex relationships. So you have someone who's born heterosexual, bisexual, or homosexual. So why is there this thing where God would say, that's fine, but that's not fine? And he creates them knowingly like that. And then in the past, the church has said these people are mentally ill, they deserve to be, put in institutions, penalized, etc., etc. I mean, I could go on and on about that. But my question is, why do you say that if I'm going to be a Christian again, then I need to repent from being LGBTQI+, and then accept this narrow version of the gospel? That to me is like conversion therapy, and the UN and all these other major medical organizations in the US and around the world have called that torture. So for you to stand here and to defend that, that's pretty messed up. What is your response to that?
Well, Mav, let me ask you a question. What is your standard of morality?
I'm a secular humanist. I think that everybody is innately good.
What do you mean by good?
Well, obviously murder is wrong.
Why?
Because if I went and murdered someone's kid, then that mother or father would not have a child, and they would be in mourning, and that caused them some great psychological turmoil for the rest of their lives and trauma they're going to have to work through in therapy. So objectively, we can see psychologically, they're not going to be doing too hot. So of course, that's objectively wrong.
Why is it objectively wrong to harm people?
Because if we are going to come together as a society and cooperate as a human race, we need to have some sort of moral standard to bind us together, regardless if there's a God or not.
But whose moral standard? I mean, Hitler had a pretty tight moral standard within Germany. Why was he wrong?
Well, obviously he was wrong on many levels. I mean, the fact that he murdered millions of people.
You would think Marv would just take the L, not our Mavi.
Okay, you're bringing up all sorts of moral wrongs.
But what I'm saying is that was what we need to cooperate as a human race, regardless of whether there's a God or not, because evolution has incentivized cooperation. If I share my fruit with my person, they're going to survive. If I take care of the elderly person in my clan, they're going to survive.
No.
If I take care of the children in my village, they're going to survive. The human race will survive and reproduce, and therefore everyone else is benefited from it.
Mav, evolution is survival of the fittest.
That's not true. There's a lot more to it than you're strawmanning evolution. You're just so wrong about this stuff. I'm sorry.
Where am I wrong about evolution being the survival of the fittest?
You probably read that guy who funded the Ark Encounter, maybe you or whatever in Kentucky. You probably read his straw man version of evolution, and I really don't think that you really talk to biologists and you really know what's going on, because there's a whole lot of stuff that a lot of you guys will just straw man and not even take as like what it actually says.
Hold on. Okay, got a lot of people behind here. I'm asking you simple questions. You come up asking a moral question. I'm asking for a moral standard. You haven't given me a moral standard.
I've said objective morality. That is a moral standard.
Where does the objective morality come if there is no God? I'm not the source of objective...
From within our wiring, from collaborating with other people. Okay. There are negative consequences to murder, obviously.
Negative is a moral term. You're importing a moral standard into your atheistic system, and you're stealing it from a theistic worldview.
That's not true.
Well,
I'm sorry. You
There are
don't
so
get
many moral
morality.
standards besides Christianity.
Mav.
There's Buddhism. There's
All right, stop.
Shintoism.
Mav,
There's
stop.
all these different moral
Stop.
codes from all over the world that I've read about that I've imported. So that's not true.
Mav, I'm going to have to ask you to move away from the microphone unless you give me a chance to respond. Okay?
Fair enough.
Okay. So there is no objective moral standard unless some kind of God exists. Everything is just a matter of human opinion. And so when you hold up a sign that says that certain people have treated LGBTQ people wrongly,
Well, they have, and there's so much evidence for it.
Mav, you might be exactly right about that. But
I know I am. I have experiences and data to back it up.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that people have treated you poorly, but
You don't have to go on and spread these bigoted viewpoints on YouTube and Facebook like you do. It's just a bunch of misinformation. You have no idea. You have blood on your hands.
Okay, Mav. Do you want to have a conversation, or you just want
No, I really just would like you to just apologize and turn around and see that what you're doing is harmful.
I knew insert whatever pronouns was just minutes from crashing out.
Can a 30-year-old person say, I'm now 14? Okay, so then if we don't affirm that mental delusion, why should we affirm the mental delusion where men who think they are women or women who think they are men?
Because there's a power like problem with age.
And there's no power problem between men becoming women or going into locker rooms or winning female trophies or winning female sports. There's no power dynamic there. So you look at the world through trying to accommodate the comfort of the oppressed. We look at the world through right and wrong, moral and immoral, and just and unjust. We don't care about making people comfortable. We care about what is right. We care about the protection of women, not that some psychopath can go into your local locker room and undress next to a girl at the University of Tennessee. We think that's perverted and wrong and insane.
I can't believe we are still talking about this in 2025, honestly.
If there was a zombie apocalypse, liberals would be for zombies. And they'd be like, no, zombies have the right to eat brains. And they have the right to murder human beings because zombies deserve to live. And everybody would be like, the what? And they'd be like, yeah, you can't oppress the zombies because the zombies are just a minority. And it doesn't really happen. They're all actually doctors and, you know, very smart people, so we can have them move into our towns and eat us.
They would also go unscathed because they have no brains to offer.
I do not have the same opportunity as you. I know I don't. And you know that I know what's good. And you know that.
She doesn't have the same opportunity as she sits right at the table, right alongside them, and has a conversation. Poor, pitiful us. But she wasn't done. Let's skip to the end. I want to talk about this.
I got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all y'all added up together on this table, right? And I have always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in. And it's not because...
Even in the White House?
Even in the White House.
Well, whose fault is that? I don't think you worked for George W. or Trump.
Well, guess wasn't what happened when I was there. DEI.
Listen, it's 2025. If you're like under the age of 40 and you're still crying and complaining about, you know, the white man holding you back and slavery and racism and you can't get any opportunities and everything isn't fair, you're lame. That is lame. Extremely lame. This woman worked in the White House under Biden and Harris. She says she was the lowest paid, even with the DEI administration that she was working for. Well, maybe she just wasn't the most skilled. Maybe she doesn't bring the most value. Just because you have degrees does not mean you're competent, nor does it mean you're good at your job. And clearly this individual is not very smart, nor very mature, but was working in the White House. 2025, get to work. We live in the best country in the history of existence. There is more opportunity in this country than anywhere on the planet. Many of us are still complaining about the white man, and racism, and whining about
A law degree, a master's, 2 bachelors, and this is how she communicates? Obviously, degrees don't equal intelligence.
So you know how I told you every day I've been coming home and there's been money missing from my purse?
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
Well, the new boss that I don't like hired someone to monitor the cameras, and turns out HR has been robbing us blind.
Wow, that's insane, but that's a good thing that you guys found out. Now you can do something about it, and now you know where your money's been going.
No, it's not that simple.
Why? What's wrong?
I don't like the boss, I don't like the new hire, and I didn't get to help pick him out.
Oh, well, do you usually get to help the boss pick his new hires?
No, but it's not the same. I want to know where my money's going, I want it to be investigated, but I don't want this person doing the investigation. I already said I didn't like him.
Well, you are going to benefit from it in the long run, so why don't you just try to look at the positives?
Don't you get it? There's nothing that this boss or his new hire could do to make me like him. I think that it's positive. It will never be positive because it's them. I'm not even safe at work anymore. I don't even care about the money anymore. I don't care who's robbing me. If this is what it's gonna take, I don't even care to know. I'm gonna have a panic attack.
Also, they'd stand by HR to protest the whole process. Bunch of dummies.
Can I be a little provocative on this for a second, guys? All right, trigger warning. Okay, one of the world's wealthiest men, worth like 10 billion bucks. He's got a show on the NBC Apprentice. He's literally married to a supermodel. He can have any woman on the world. And I'm supposed to believe at 2 p.m. in a Tiffany store, he walks in and E. Jean Carroll, who is not exactly a supermodel, and risks his entire fortune, of which there is no accusation for 20 years. He pops up and runs for the president, and all of a sudden she says, this guy, even though I can't remember the day, the month, the year, 2 p.m. in a department store at Tiffany's while he was at the height of his career. Sorry, it's complete rubbish and political nonsense.
So sick of that narrative.
I'm currently facing felony charges.
Do you regret your involvement in the CUNY Academy?
No, absolutely not. Never.
I have zero regrets. I would do everything the same with the same people.
We are Hamas! Yes, we're all Hamas!
Right, long live the resistance, yes. Long live the resistance. One of the greatest days of my life.
Spiritually speaking, I do spend a lot of time thinking, well, what am I going to do if and when I go to prison?
So you burn things down in the US to show support to a terrorist group in Palestine. But somehow we are supposed to believe that you guys are the ones suffering.
What do you do with those children once they're born into a bad household?
So now we've transitioned to what do you do with the kids?
Right.
Glad we're past the other part of the argument, okay? What do you do with them? You know there's twice as many people on the adoption waiting list than there are abortions every single year?
And they're still on the list. So you want to send a child into an orphanage? Is that what you want for a child? Is that a good life for a child?
No, I'm not advocating that. In fact, I'm advocating to make it easier to be able to adopt, number one. Number two, there's no such thing as an unwanted child. Number three, it is never right to justify the mass elimination or termination of people under the guise of saying they're unwanted. That's how we get Auschwitz. That's how we get the greatest horrors of the 20th century. Those people are unwanted.
So you're comparing abortion to the Holocaust?
Absolutely I am. In fact, it's worse. It's worse.
It's really not.
It's 45 million babies. It's nearly 8 times worse than the Holocaust. What's the moral difference between a small baby in the womb and a grown Jew who was killed at Auschwitz? What's the moral difference? One is older?
Is a person?
What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human.
Therefore, they should have human rights.
No!
They should have human rights.
I do not agree.
Oh, so small humans, no human rights. Grown humans, human rights.
It's not a small human, an embryo.
You just said it was a human species.
It's not a living human child.
Wait, it's not a what?
It's not a child.
But
it's not a living child.
It has a heartbeat. It has brain waves.
That does not make it a child.
But tell me when it becomes a child then.
I already told you, when it is born.
Again, so under every other objective definition, you see guys how quickly the pro-abortion arguments fall apart with just the slightest questioning?
It's not a living human child. Take off that raincoat and let some air into your pores.
This is for the girlies that always have another guy. Like, not always have another guy. Maybe I should reword that. But, like, have someone attractive that they're hooking up with. And then they stop that. And then they have someone else. And, like, where are you finding these men? Because on the dating apps, everyone's ugly. I'm sorry. Everybody is ugly. Not going out to bars, so I'm not meeting people there. And even if I was going out to bars, those are not the men I want to meet. The gym, no one fucking talks to you. I have resting bitch face, so nobody's coming my way. No one's talking to me. Oh, where are we meeting these men that are actually attractive? Because everywhere I look, it's ugly, ugly, ugly. There are so many attractive women, and there's so many unattractive men. I'm sorry.
I think the call is coming from inside the house. It's not about your resting bee face. It's just your face.
Think my outfit is offensive?
Are you Mexican?
No.
Yes.
I think it reaffirms stereotypes that are offensive to people.
It's not yours.
Do you find my outfit offensive?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's not your culture.
You don't really understand what their culture means and what it means to wear these things, like the hats and the maracas. Sort of have to understand where all of this comes from for it to not be cultural appropriation.
Does my outfit offend you?
You look, no. You look nice.
Do you like my costume?
Yes.
Does it offend you?
No.
Do you like my outfit?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Does my outfit offend you?
No, not at all.
No, nothing. That's good.
The only offended people are students taking critical race theory courses.
Trans people see themselves, they really do, as the gender they identify as. And I think if a lot of people would start to, change and see themselves as the gender that they are presenting themselves as and identify as, there'd be a lot less negativity. In the locker room, you never really see anybody's parts anyways. So nobody really knows what I have down there unless I tell them.
Unless you tell them. I know that the district did try to accommodate you, and they provided a separate locker room, a separate changing room just for you, but you still wanted to be in the girls' locker room because that's how you identify. Why?
It's because I'm a girl, and I feel like it's weird to be removed from all the other girls, and I feel kind of like, here are the boys, and then here are the girls. Oh yeah, here's Lila. And I really didn't like that. I felt kind of...
The level of entitlement with these kids is just insane. He's in high school, by the way, and he wants to play Peeping Tom in the open.
He pardoned Officer Derek Chauvin that put his knee on George Floyd.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you grade Trump's presidency so far?
A -7.
Why do you give it a -7?
I think he is the epitome of narcissism. I think he kind of enforces white supremacy, which is kind of subliminal most of the time, and so he's exposing what has already existed for years and years.
You mentioned white supremacy. What does he do to enforce white supremacy?
I think he doesn't hold certain people accountable. I mean, with the George Floyd, I forgot the guy, but you know,
officer.
The officer. He. So I mean, that goes to show kind of how he feels about the life that was lost and those people that have these strong beliefs. It's like
he pardoned Officer Derek Chauvin that put his knee on George Floyd.
Yeah.
Where did you get that information from?
I saw it, I think, on a news article. It's been a while, honestly, but yeah.
Just gonna fact check you that didn't happen.
Well then.
Does that change? Maybe you can give me another example.
Let me see. It's so, I guess it's complicated. I mean, I can't give you another example specifically, I guess, because there's just been so much going on.
So every anti-Trumper is just fueled by delusions and fear-mongering misinformation? Good to know.
Do you think there should be more than 2 genders in America?
Yeah, I don't know what that executive order means. I don't know what the president declared.
It means there are 2 genders, male and female. Do you disagree with that?
How many genders are there, Harry?
Yeah,
Come on, little guy. How many genders are there?
Again, these guys don't know what they're talking about, so they won't be able to answer.
Harry, how many genders are there?
How many genders are there, Harry?
How many
genders are there?
At least 2. That satisfies
well, how many more other than male, female?
That's a TikTok answer.
No, there's at least 2.
Yeah.
There's at least 2.
Well, no, hang on. There's male and female.
Kid is like human brain
Donald
rot.
Trump says there's male and female. There are 2.
Okay, Dave.
How many more are there after male and female, Harry?
We asked a damn question.
You've just been asked a very simple question, Harry.
Conversation with peers, not you, Mr. Combe-Over. Relax for me.
Harry,
Take a
you
breather.
simply
Thank
got
you so
asked
much.
if there are at least 2 genders, how many more are there than male and female?
Piers, you asked me about Donald Trump's executive order. I'm trying to explain how legally it makes absolutely no sense and it's going to get sued in court. Then we go into culture wars with Dave Rubin and this Ferguson guy asking how many genders are there.
Hang on, Ben. Hang on, Ben. I've got
More
this.
or less than 100.
Can I answer the question?
Yes, Cornell. Answer the question.
Can I answer the question
Yes.
for Brother Harry? Because Brother Harry trying to hold
help
on.
him out, Cornell.
All of us are androgynous. There are men and there are women. There are different sides of human beings, all made in the image of a God that has a dignity and a sanctity. And if you're going to try to start demonizing precious trans folk, then I'm going to be fighting. But it's not. But
okay, Cornell, I agree with them. I agree with them. I agree. Don't demonize trans folks. This is all the left has left.
How many colors are there in the rainbow? There's at least 7, so there are more? What are they then? Seeing Harry Sisson getting bullied on TV is satisfying.
Call people aliens, you weirdo. Well, hey, that's on the website. I'm gonna say what it's on the website. No, you're not gonna call people aliens on my live. Okay, let me rephrase it. Illegal immigrants. There you go. Well, yeah. I mean, I would prefer that. I prefer you call them undocumented immigrants, but like. The point that I would make is that like when you call people aliens, that is by dehumanizing. Okay, hey with it.
Was he about to cry or something?
Do you believe in black privilege or white privilege?
We don't have black privilege. We don't have black privilege.
I can't say that we don't have black privilege because we have forced it out there to where if a white person just walks up to us, they can't say what they want to anymore.
We and our ancestors gonna let them beat us up and
And there lies your black privilege.
I think that's not wrong with rights.
It's not.
Suspect me.
No, it's not. It's not a right because white people would feel like it's a right that we live in higher society. It's a privilege.
Would not get the same sentence as a black person. A white rapper and a black rapper. A black rapper still gonna get the same. Gonna get worse than the white person.
And there lies white privilege.
That is above black privilege.
Finally, a smart guy in glasses. Not that smart if he's dating her though.
Do you think Snow White flopped last weekend because Disney changed the original story? Think again. Fact is, Disney hired a Latina pro-Palestinian woman and you lost your minds.
Here's a hot take. Maybe just sucks.
Took a free folktale and turned it into a billion-dollar brand. Nobody batted an eye. This is not an attack on Disney. It's a war on women.
I'm just kidding. It's not really a war when you're punching down, you know?
Condition young girls to be likable, agreeable, relatable.
You think that that's true in America? Women are taught to be more masculine, which, by the way, I like masculine women. I think if you can't handle a masculine woman, you're gay. Oh, let me dominate somebody who can stand up for themselves and they still fear me? That's based, okay? Oh, I have a petite 5-foot-tall girlfriend. Like, she listens to everything I say and tell her to do. Whoa, what a challenge, dude. Oh, give me a 5'6" BBW with an attitude that'll stab you to death in your sleep. Dominate that. And also, it's okay to have feminine stories. It's okay to have stories that still have a feminine representation of women. Some women like to be more feminine.
The movie was horrible, and people are tired of uncreative wokeness destroying beautiful things. Also, Rachel Ziegler is a menace.
Why is misogyny on the rise? And why are misogynistic figures like Andrew Tate on the rise? As communists, we know the answer. The answer is a class system in the state. You can see this when the police routinely harass and abuse women who don't have their interests at heart. But as communists, we also know the solution. The solution lies in socialist revolution and the class struggle. Come to our meeting on Thursday to discuss women's oppression in the state.
Looks like the perfect poster boy for communism, actually.
Do you believe that being here in America here is a right or a privilege?
It's a right and a privilege.
You have a right to be here?
Yes, I believe anybody has a right to movement to wherever they want.
So you would get rid of all borders?
Yes.
So when you land from an international flight at JFK Airport, no passport checks?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you for so bluntly telling us your view.
I'm a dirty commie, so yeah.
Yeah.
Your words, not mine.
They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy.
To be here?
Yes, I believe anybody has a right to movement.
Queer Palestinians and pink washing. Aren't those some unicorns in the grammar department? Something new every day.
Stop that shit, bro. Stop, bro. You can just clean it up. Clean it. That's what you do.
To be here?
Yes. To movement to wherever.
You can just clean it up.
While people are free to do what they want with themselves, it is still the society's responsibility to ensure they are safe. It's an unspoken rule. That's why we don't let people do drugs. That's why we try to eradicate addictions.
I think you guys hate Elon Musk so much because he used to be on Team Left and now he's on Team America and he's putting his money where his mouth is. And
no, I don't like him because he's annoying and he has bad politics.
Oh, because he has bad politics.
No, and he's annoying.
So it's like a personal thing?
A little bit, but also he has bad politics.
Do you think he's done anything remarkable?
Depends on what you consider remarkable. It's
like, I don't know, launching rockets into orbit and then landing them?
The one launching the rockets, his employees are.
Okay, he's the inventor and the innovator of SpaceX.
He only has 4 patents to his name. Most of those are for the Tesla Model X, not for anything related to SpaceX.
And how many do you have to your name?
I'm not trying to be Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's just, it's so easy to like criticize. I don't like Elon.
No,
he
I'm
only
not
has
trying
4
to be
patents.
him.
No, I think maybe you should just have a little bit more like awe at what this guy has built and what he has done.
Shouldn't we just be against the interests of any of elites?
No, I'm not against the idea of elites. You're always going to have people at the top of something. Top of an institution, top of a school, top of a sporting event. The question is, will those people be noble and have duty, courage, and strong ethics? That's always been the question.
So then why are you touting Elon Musk as a good example of these
Because he's a great example. He gives a lot of money away. He also bought X, which saved freedom of speech in the West, $50 billion that allowed us to speak freely. And he's now sacrificing a lot of his time where he could be on a yacht in Monaco trying to find waste in our federal government so that your taxpayer dollars are better spent. That is an example of a noble elite. What would you like to have him do? He's worth $400.
Give away more of his money to other causes, because it seems like
you mean left-wing causes.
Nobody is going to use $450 billion in their entire life.
That's not, but he gave away $50 billion basically for Twitter. Like, he's not going to make money on that. He gave hundreds of millions of dollars on political stuff. He's given away billions of dollars charitably.
They need him to fund transgender rats and Palestine riots, Charlie.
So let me show you around my new face. For reference, here's what I looked like before. First up is the hairline. You can see that it has been moved forward. The line is pretty pronounced right now, but it...
What? Did he say move forward? Yeah. What? Okay, they lifted the eyelids. It's like unhooding the eyes. It looks like the nose was shaved down a little. And it looks like this jawline was touched up. I just don't see a difference. It looks like maybe he plucked his eyebrows. I don't see a difference either. Just like Dylan Mulvaney when he got his. Nothing really changed that much.
It's almost as if a man is a man.
This is why y'all lost. My period I experience every month is very real. Once a month, trans women will experience what is known as a period.
I replied, but some women don't get periods, and some men get periods too. Or you can be born intersex and get a period.
Because not all women have periods, and not all people who do have their periods are women. Menstruation is a biological process, meaning if you have a uterus, you may experience a period. There are many people who have their periods that are transgender or non-binary that aren't women.
Why? Stop. Now, if you didn't know, trans women, we get the muscular cramps. Obviously, we're not having periods, but we get the hormone inflections and the muscles. Many of us just...
These people need to know when to stop. And that right there is a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe buttons. See you in the next one.